A drone so advanced it can hunt enemy fighters, strike ground targets, and vanish from radar screens, all while operating alongside America's most lethal jets. What if the future of air combat isn't about cheaper drones, but about drones that survive? Lockheed Martin's legendary Skunk Works has just unveiled Vectus, a combat drone that's rewriting the rules of aerial warfare. For decades, Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works has operated in the shadows, creating aircraft that seemed impossible. The U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, the F-117 stealth fighter. These were technological leaps that redefined what was possible in the skies. Now, as warfare evolves and manned fighters become increasingly vulnerable, Skunk Works faces a new challenge: creating unmanned aircraft that can survive and dominate in tomorrow's battlefields. But here's what makes this announcement stunning. Vectus comes after Skunk Works spectacularly lost the Air Force's first collaborative combat aircraft competition. They bet big on extreme stealth, went gold-plated, as insiders called it, and watched as competitors with cheaper, simpler designs walked away with billion-dollar contracts. So why is Skunk Works doubling down with an even more advanced drone? The answer reveals a fundamental shift in thinking. Vectis isn't designed for any specific competition, it's designed for the reality of modern warfare. While others chase lower costs, Skunk Works sees a different future, one where survivability matters more than price tags. Where losing 80% of your $20 million drones in combat isn't strategy, it's financial suicide. Vectus represents their conviction that as warfare intensifies, militaries worldwide will realize they need drones that come home. And when that reckoning arrives, Skunk Works intends to own the market. If you're fascinated by cutting-edge military technology, hit that subscribe button now. We're diving deep into what makes Vectis unlike anything else in development. To understand Vectus, you need to understand what makes a combat drone truly effective. It's not just about flying unmanned. It's about surviving in environments where your enemies are actively trying to kill you. Modern air defense systems can track aircraft from hundreds of miles away. Missiles travel at hypersonic speeds. Radar systems operate across multiple frequency bands simultaneously. In this environment, the difference between a surviving aircraft and a destroyed one often comes down to inches of design choices and fractions of radar cross-section. Vectus incorporates features we've only seen on the most advanced manned fighters: a lambda wing design, S-shaped engine ducts, exhaust shrouding, conformal sensors. Every line, every angle, every surface has been optimized for one thing: not being seen. But here's the twist. Skunk Works won't reveal its dimensions, performance specs, or even what engine it uses. They're hiding flexibility. Vectus isn't a single aircraft, it's a platform. The name itself means lever in Latin, reflecting how it can be adapted to different missions and operators. Want air-to-air combat capability? Configure it with missiles and targeting radars. Need deep strike capability? Load it with air-to-surface weapons. ISR mission? Pack it with surveillance sensors. This modularity, what Skunk Works calls their agile drone framework, means Vectis can be tailored to American, European, or Pacific theater requirements without starting from scratch each time. Now let's talk about what we can see. The renderings show a tailless design with a pronounced chine line wrapping around the forward fuselage and a distinctive shovel-shaped nose. These aren't aesthetic choices. They're radar management techniques refined over decades of stealth aircraft development. The top-mounted air intake feeds into that S-shaped duct, preventing radar waves from bouncing directly off the engine fan blades, a classic technique, but one that requires sophisticated engineering to balance stealth with the engine's need for airflow. O.J. Sanchez, head of Skunk Works, dropped a bombshell during the unveiling. Recently, we built and flew a 6th-generation aircraft, and that work is driving progress across current and emerging efforts. Wait, Skunk Works already flew a 6th-gen fighter? When? What does it look like? And how is that technology flowing into Vectis? Sanchez won't elaborate. 97% of what Skunk Works does is classified, but the implications are staggering. Whatever they learned from that secret 6th-gen program, advanced materials, manufacturing techniques, sensor fusion, artificial intelligence, all that is being incorporated into Vectis. This drone isn't just using yesterday's technology made unmanned. It's carrying tomorrow's technology into a more affordable, more producible package. That classified 6th-gen aircraft is essentially the technology demonstrator for an entire family of future aircraft, and Vectis is our first public glimpse of that future. Modern air combat is nothing like the dogfights of previous generations. It's about information dominance, sensor fusion, and coordinated attacks across vast distances. The F22 Raptor and F35 Lightning II are essentially flying supercomputers that happen to carry weapons. They can detect threats hundreds of miles away, share that information instantly across secure networks, and coordinate attacks with precision. But they're also expensive. The F-35 costs over $80 million per aircraft. And putting pilots at risk in contested airspace comes with difficult political and strategic costs. This is where Vectis enters the equation. Skunk Works has run simulations pairing F-22s and F-35s with Vectis drones in combat scenarios. According to Sanchez, the results are impressive. But what does that actually mean? How does adding Vectis change the tactical calculus? And can simulations really predict how these systems will perform in actual combat? An F-35 detects enemy fighters at extreme range, but can't engage without exposing its position. It commands Vectis drones operating ahead to move into firing positions. The drones, using their own sensors, confirm the targets and receive authorization to fire. Air-to-air missiles launch from internal bays, maintaining the drone's stealth profile. The enemy fighters never know what hit them, and the F-35 pilot never entered the kill zone. This is loyal wingman warfare. Human decision-making combined with unmanned risk-taking, multiplying combat power while minimizing casualties. To appreciate Vectis's position in the market, you need to understand the competitive landscape. In April 2024, the Air Force awarded contracts to General Atomics and Anduril for Increment 1 of the Collaborative Combat Aircraft Program. Their designs, the YFQ-42A and YFQ-44A, prioritize affordability and producibility over maximum survivability. The Air Force wants drones costing roughly $20 million each, accepting that many won't return from combat missions. It's a numbers game. Build them cheap, build them fast, accept losses. Skunk Works lost that competition because their bid emphasized higher levels of stealth than were necessary. As former Skunk Works head John Clark admitted, they gold-plated something the Air Force didn't need gold-plated. So why is Vectis, which still emphasizes survivability over cost, their answer to that defeat? Didn't they learn their lesson? Actually, they learned a different lesson. Current Skunk Works head Sanchez isn't contradicting his predecessor. He's playing a longer game. The Air Force's Increment 2 requirements haven't been finalized yet, and as operational realities emerge from testing those cheaper drones, requirements may shift. Meanwhile, international markets have different priorities. European and Pacific allies facing sophisticated threats might value survivability over cost savings. Vectis isn't positioned for today's competitions. It's positioned for tomorrow's realizations. That expendable doesn't always mean affordable when you're replacing 80% of your fleet after every major engagement. We're halfway through, and there's so much more to uncover. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our deep dives into military aviation and defense technology. Trust me, you'll want to see what's coming next. Warfare is going global and going distributed. The U.S. faces potential conflicts across multiple theaters simultaneously. The Pacific against China, Europe supporting NATO, the Middle East maintaining stability. Each theater has unique challenges. The vast distances of the Pacific demand extreme range and endurance. European operations require integration with NATO systems and compliance with European regulations. Middle Eastern scenarios involve intense air defense environments and austere operating locations. No single aircraft design can optimize for all these scenarios simultaneously. This is why Vectis's international flexibility matters so much. Sanchez emphasizes that the drone can be tailored towards specific countries or programs as they need. But here's what's fascinating. Vectis isn't being developed for any specific customer or competition. So who is Skunk Works really building this for? And why announce it publicly now? They're building it for everyone and advertising it to create demand. By showcasing Vectis publicly, while competitors remain focused on specific contracts, Skunk Works is marketing to every military, watching China's aggressive drone development, Russia's combat UAV deployments, and the lessons from Ukraine. Countries like Japan, South Korea, Australia, Poland, and the UK are all evaluating advanced combat drones. By demonstrating a ready-to-customize platform compatible with F-35s, which many of these countries already operate, Skunk Works is positioning Vectis as the premier international choice before competitions even begin. But here's a truth about advanced military technology that rarely gets discussed. Having impressive capabilities means nothing if you can't actually operate and maintain the system. The most sophisticated aircraft in the world becomes a hangar decoration if it requires 40 hours of maintenance for every flight hour, needs specialized facilities, or breaks down in field conditions. The U.S. military has learned this lesson painfully with aircraft like the F22, which despite its incredible performance, has struggled with maintenance demands and availability rates. Vectis faces a particularly tricky operational challenge. It's runway dependent. In an era where the Air Force is desperately pursuing agile combat employment, operating from dispersed, austere locations to avoid being targeted, requiring a traditional runway seems like a critical vulnerability. Why would Skunk Works design a drone that needs infrastructure that might be destroyed in the first hours of a conflict? Because runways won't disappear, they'll multiply. While distributed operations are critical, the Air Force's own analysis shows that runway accessibility remains incredibly important in every theater, particularly in the Indo-Pacific. Engineering battalions can repair damaged runways in hours. Allies throughout the Pacific have runways. The key isn't eliminating runway dependence, it's having enough dispersed runways that enemies can't target them all. Vectis optimizes for operational flexibility within realistic infrastructure constraints, rather than pursuing runway independence that might compromise other critical capabilities like payload capacity, range, or maintainability. Perhaps the most sensitive aspect of combat drones is autonomy, specifically how much decision-making authority you give to artificial intelligence systems that can employ lethal force. This isn't just a technical question, it's an ethical, legal, and strategic one. The U.S. military maintains that humans must remain in the loop for lethal decisions, but defining what that means becomes complicated when you're talking about situations that unfold in seconds, beyond human reaction time, at distances where communication delays matter. Vectis is designed to integrate with both F-22 and F-35 cockpits, with pilots using touchscreen displays to control the drones. But here's the concern that's been raised repeatedly. In high-intensity combat, will pilots already managing their own aircraft, monitoring threats, and coordinating with teammates really be able to effectively control drones using tablets? Aren't we creating impossible workload demands? The answer lies in understanding what control actually means. Pilots won't be flying Vectis like remote-control aircraft. They'll be commanding them at a tactical level. The AI handles the moment-to-moment flying, threat avoidance, and execution details. Skunk Works describes this as smart autonomy, where the system is open mission systems aligned with government reference architecture, meaning it can adapt to different levels of human oversight depending on the mission, rules of engagement, and operator preferences. The entire CCA program was founded on the idea that you could create effective combat capability at a fraction of traditional fighter costs, accepting higher loss rates because replacements are affordable. This makes sense in theory. Better to lose a $20 million drone than risk an $80 million F-35 and its pilot. But there's a point where this math breaks down. Former Skunk Works chief John Clark raised a key concern. If $15 to $20 million aircraft have an expected loss rate of 80% or more, how long can such spending remain financially viable? This highlights the Vectis paradox. If the cost exceeds the Air Force's target price, the concept may undermine its own purpose. Sanchez's answer reframes the question entirely. Mission effects that are far beyond what you would have without them. It's not about unit cost, it's about total mission cost. If a more expensive, more survivable drone can be reused across dozens of missions over years, while cheaper drones are destroyed at high rates requiring constant replacement, production, and training, which is actually more affordable. Factor in that Vectis can perform multiple mission types like air-to-air, air-to-ground, ISR, and suddenly you're comparing one adaptable platform against multiple specialized systems. The math becomes complicated fast. We can't discuss advanced combat drones without acknowledging the Pacific, China. Over the past decade, China has emerged as a dominant force in unmanned aerial systems development, particularly in the stealthy flying wing category. At a military parade earlier this month, China displayed multiple advanced combat drone designs. In December 2024, two new Chinese sixth-generation fighter concepts appeared publicly. China isn't just developing these systems, they're exporting drone technology globally, positioning themselves as the world's leading UAV supplier. This creates an urgent question for the United States and its allies. Are we falling behind? When China fields advanced combat drones in numbers while America is still testing prototypes and debating requirements, does the technological advantage the U.S. has maintained for decades begin to erode? And does Vectis represent a genuine answer to this challenge? Or is it arriving too late? The timeline matters enormously here. Skunk Works intends to fly Vectis within 2 years. That's remarkably fast for advanced aviation development, but it's not production. Meanwhile, China is already testing and fielding systems. However, Sanchez's cryptic comment about the already flown 6th-gen aircraft suggests Skunk Works is further along than public timelines indicate. Much of their work remains classified. The real question isn't whether America can technologically compete with China. It's whether American acquisition processes can move fast enough to matter strategically. Modern warfare isn't conducted by single nations operating independently. It's coalitions, alliances, and partnerships. NATO operates as an integrated force. Pacific allies coordinate through bilateral agreements and multilateral frameworks. The F-35 program alone involves 9 partner nations. This means any future combat system can't just work well, it needs to work well with everyone else's systems. Communication protocols, data sharing, command architectures, even something as simple as measurement units must align. Skunk Works emphasizes that Vectis' architecture is open mission systems aligned with government reference architecture, meaning it can theoretically integrate with anyone's systems. They highlight recent demonstrations, sharing classified data with foreign F-35 operators, and partnerships with companies like BAE Systems in the UK. But here's the complication. Many countries want their own domestic defense industries involved. How does a Lockheed Martin product compete when potential customers want to develop indigenous capabilities? By being a partner, not just a vendor. The Agile drone framework isn't just about Vectis' modularity, it's about collaborative development. Skunk Works explicitly welcomes the opportunity to collaborate with others and talks about expanding the tent of partners who can contribute components and subsystems. Countries can participate in development, integrate domestic technologies, and customize for their specific requirements while benefiting from Skunk Works' fundamental platform and stealth expertise. It's the F-35 model applied to unmanned systems, a common core with national variations. maintaining interoperability while supporting domestic industry. But how do you build a force structure for threats you can't fully predict? The Air Force is simultaneously trying to modernize its aging fighter fleet, develop next-generation crewed aircraft, integrate AI and autonomy, field multiple tiers of unmanned systems, and do all this while maintaining current readiness, all within budget constraints that never seem adequate. Every dollar spent on one priority is a dollar not spent on others. Vectus enters this incredibly complex equation as one option among many. The Air Force already has Increment 1 CCAS in development. Increment 2 requirements are being refined. Various classified programs are advancing in the shadows. Private companies are developing competing designs. So where does Vectus actually fit? Is there room in the budget and force structure for a higher-end CCA when cheaper options exist? Sanchez argues that there isn't just room, there's necessity. Future air forces will likely field a family of systems spanning capability tiers. Expendable attritable drones for high-risk missions, mid-tier CCAs balancing cost and capability, and high-end survivable platforms for critical missions where failure isn't acceptable. Vectis targets that high-end tier, working alongside advanced fighters in the most contested environments. Rather than replacing cheaper CCAs, it complements them, different tools for different missions. The question isn't whether the Air Force needs Vectis specifically, but whether it needs something in Vectis's capability class. Skunk Works is betting yes. One aspect of modern defense that rarely gets sufficient attention is industrial capacity. You can design the most incredible aircraft imaginable, but if you can't manufacture it at scale, at affordable costs, with acceptable quality control, it remains a prototype. The U.S. defense industrial base has atrophied significantly since the Cold War. Skilled workforce challenges persist. Supply chain vulnerabilities exist. Production rates for even established systems, like the F35, struggle to meet targets. Skunk Works says parts for Vectis are already ordered, and the team is working toward flight in 2 years. That's an aggressive timeline suggesting they're leveraging existing manufacturing capabilities and supply chains rather than building everything from scratch. But can they actually achieve production scale if orders materialize? And what happens when multiple countries want customized variants simultaneously? This is where the agile drone framework becomes crucial from a manufacturing perspective. By designing Vectus as a modular platform with open architecture, Skunk Works can maintain a common production line for core airframes while customizing payloads, systems, and software for different customers. This approach lets them achieve economies of scale on the expensive structural components while maintaining flexibility on the specialized systems. It's production strategy disguised as operational flexibility, and it might solve the manufacturing challenge that's doomed previous advanced programs. Defense announcements are never just about the hardware, they're strategic communications. When Skunk Works publicly unveils Vectis, they're sending signals to multiple audiences simultaneously, potential customers evaluating options, adversaries calculating their own capabilities, competitors adjusting their strategies, and internal Air Force stakeholders influencing requirements, decisions. Every detail shared and every detail withheld is calculated. So what message is Skunk Works really sending with Vectis? Why announce it now before it flies without specific customers or contracts? Why release promotional videos showing it operating alongside F22s and F35s? And perhaps most interestingly, why emphasize the 6th-gen aircraft connection while refusing to elaborate? They're declaring they're still in the game and ahead of where others might think. After losing the Increment 1 competition, Skunk Works could have retreated. Instead, they're demonstrating they've been developing even more advanced capabilities. The 6th-gen reference tells adversaries, your intelligence assessments are already outdated, while telling potential customers, we have access to technology others don't. The public unveiling creates urgency. Vectis exists now. Evaluate it before making decisions. It's not just marketing, it's strategic positioning in a global competition that extends far beyond any single contract. Vectis represents more than just another drone program. It's a statement about how Lockheed Martin's legendary Skunk Works views the future of air warfare. In an era when many experts advocate for quantity over quality, for expendability over survivability, Skunk Works is making a different argument. That as warfare becomes more sophisticated, more contested, and more intense, the platforms that survive will ultimately provide more value than those that don't, regardless of initial sticker price. Whether they're right remains to be seen. The Air Force's Increment 1 CCAs will provide crucial data about how these systems actually perform. International customers will vote with their procurement budgets, and most importantly, the strategic competition with China will determine whether American and allied air forces can maintain technological superiority in an era of rapidly advancing capabilities. What we know for certain is this: Vectus will fly within 2 years, carrying technology derived from classified 6th-generation aircraft programs. It will be offered to U.S. and allied forces as a modular, adaptable platform capable of air-to-air, air-to-surface, and ISR missions. And it represents Skunk Works' conviction that even in an age of unmanned aircraft, survivability still matters. So do you think the future of air combat belongs to expensive, survivable drones like Vectis, or to cheaper, more expendable systems that can be built in numbers? Is survivability worth the cost premium, or should militaries embrace attrition as the new reality? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you found this deep dive valuable, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We're covering cutting-edge defense technology every week, and trust me, Vectus is just the beginning. Also, catch our previous video on the secret monster that USF is building.